Hey YouTube, just want to shoot a quick little overview here of the waterproof Compadre Play No Guide series case. Toggle for on and off. There's the gland nut for the cable. I always seal all these up with a little extra, that 3M5200. It's a 3 to 5 millimeter gland nut. That's what you need to order if you want to do one. You may actually be able to use the one that came on the housing, but I'm not 100% sure. The inside the housing, actually, it's the old original jobber there. You got to cut the battery leads, just cut them as close as you can up here to the plastic housing, and then solder on a new snap connector. And then also, once you first tilt out the faceplate and the circuit board, if you reach back in there with the skinny pair of cutters, there's enough wire exposed between the factory strain relief and the circuit board. Well, it's not exposed, it's, you know, still has shielding on it, but there's enough coil wire between there and the circuit board after you tilt them out that if you cut it right in the middle of them, you won't have to take any more of the shielding off the coil wire, and there'll be enough on the circuit board to splice them back together. That way you don't have to do any soldering on the circuit board, and it makes things a lot easier because you got to be really on point with that work on there, otherwise you'll start burning other traces and stuff. So anyway, it's got a couple folded pieces of PVC here and here that have little grooves in them that the circuit board fits down into, and then of course the faceplate attaches, and the speaker's still intact. I keep the battery down here. It's just wrapped in actually it's a piece of rubber lining that came with the case, and the headphone jack is still in here. I may at some point add headphones, but for now it's, for the most part, plenty loud enough for the early morning hours. I usually get out to the lake and river in a couple spots. I mean, there's times when it's been howling windy and there's a lot of boats out where it kind of gets hard to hear, so I probably will at some point take the next step with it and add headphones. But since I really don't use it underwater yet, because that's the other thing, is it's kind of, the case itself is kind of buoyant to hold underwater. I've used it a little bit. You can, you know, when it's nice and quiet, you can hear it with the case like 6 inches underwater if it's a good target. I don't know if you'd ever hear an earring back or something like that, or a tiny little stud earring that I've found. Those are pretty quiet, but it does the job until I upgrade to a fancier purpose-built machine. So this is the small coil version. That's the one thing I probably would change if I did it again, is that I love my small coil on the Land Compadre, but this is really slow going in the water with the small coil, but she still does the job. And the bracket is a stainless piece off a big square piece of stainless that came off a commercial door, so it's folded up into shape. A couple bolts hold it to the rod, and then just do a use a hair tie, actually stretched around the case. Once I put the machine back together, or the box back together, I'll try to get a shot of it all strapped up for you folks, and maybe show it on a few targets in the test garden, because this one I actually have the sensitivity trimmer. Is that you probably can't even see it there, little guy there inside. I've got this one turned up fairly well to where it doesn't chatter, and it'll hit 8-inch targets in the ground. It's pretty impressive. Anyway, guys, it's a pretty quick and easy waterproof mod, wader mod, if you will. I guess it's not really a diving machine. I don't think these boxes, probably wouldn't want to use them more than 10-15 feet anyway, because it has a little purge valve in the side that allows air to burp out if it gets too hot sitting in the sun and stuff. So, and I haven't sealed this one up. It stays completely dry. I do keep a just for emergency, I guess, not that it would matter if it was a bunch of water, but I always keep a couple of those silica gel packs down in there just in case there is some moisture or condensation. But anyway, once again, thanks for looking, guys, and have a good one. Hey guys, got this thing all strapped up back in the bracket. I do one straight and then one with the X in it. Keeps it a little snugger, but you can see it push on it. It doesn't go anywhere. Keep some spare ties back here on the arm cuff, just in case, but haven't any problems yet. So anyway, we're gonna fire it up and show you a few targets out here. And this is like completely an all metal. Disc is as low as it'll go, and this machine's pretty awesome like that. Actually, it's amazing. And in the water, you really almost need to hunt like that, because I found a couple gold hoop earrings that are really fine, and little studs that pretty much, if you have the disc up to the end in iron on the Compadre, you're not going to dig them, because they're barely going to be a crackle and you're going to think it's a paper clip or something. So you're better off to suffer the bobby pins if you want to find that little tiny gold. So anyway, here we go, guys. There's just a few coin targets. There's nothing fancy in here, but fire it up. See, it's still plenty loud. And it's just a zinc penny at like 4 or 5 inches. Copper, 4 or 5 inches. There's a nickel at 6 inches there. And somewhere up here is the 8. Yep, that's his 8-inch nickel. And I have no way to prove it, you just have to believe me. But then there's a 6-inch dime. There it is. And we'll see if it'll do the 8-inch dime. Barely. I mean, that's one of them things you probably wouldn't dig it, because the odds of hitting it are pretty slim, but it'll do it.